Yeehaw, ride 'em cowboy. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Toya, if you not gonna come hard for Phaedra, then sis, don't come for her at all. Okay? Dive into the juiciest stories from Capitol Hill to those Hollywood hills. Baby, we're reviewing and Woo! Radam Cowboy. Yes. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who is the pettiest brown gossip girl of them all? What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode with the petty one. Yes, and we are inside the petty Cowgirl Palace for this episode of Married to Medicine. Yes, y'all, let's get into it. But before I begin my recap, I want to thank my 47 subscribers, the new 47 subscribers joining the Petty Bunch family. I cannot thank you guys enough for rocking with your girl, the petty one. Thank you, thank you, thank you so very much for taking time out of your busy schedule and finding my channel. Yes, again, a free way to support my channel, remember, is to like my videos. The more you like my videos, the more people that wasn't checking for me will find me and will make their way down over to the Petty Palace. So thank you again for rocking with my commentary. Remember, again, talk your shit in the comments. That's what we do over here. We have petty repartee. We go back, we go forth. We may agree, we may not agree, but it's all good in the Petty Palace. All right. So let's get into episode 3 of Married to Medicine. Bitch. Bitch. Things is getting spicy, spicy, spicy. We knew these ladies was coming to play because they like, hey, it's time to clock in, clock in, clock in. It's time to clock in. It's time to collect these checks. And it's time to just get this drama started. Okay. So we start with let's get right on in to Miss Quad, honey. Okay. So Miss Quad, we find Miss Quad in her just beautiful just kitchen. The kitchen is bad. Y'all know Miss Quad's new home is all that in a bag of Lay's. Okay, whatever flavor of Lay's you like, that's what it is. So the camera cuts to Miss Quad and she is cooking breakfast. Y'all know she introduced us last episode to her bae, Mr. King. We don't know his first name. We don't know if she calls him King because you know how people do. That's my king, that's my queen. Maybe his last name really is King. Okay, so she is cooking. She's making some eggs, honey. Poor King, he calls her on the phone and he's like, Miss Quad, where you at? And she like, babe, I'm cooking breakfast. And he's like, come outside. And she's like, why? You got a key and you got a code to the house. You can get in. And so he asks her again, come outside. So she puts her little spatula down and she sachets to the door, opens the door. Her man, Miss Quiet told y'all. God, I'm grateful. This man is a provider. She opens the door and her man is pulling into the driveway with a new white whip, a Rolls Royce to be exact. Okay. And it's got this big red bow on top of it. She is so giddy. She basically runs over to the car. He opens the door. She hops inside and inspects all its grandeur. Y'all already know Rolls Royce is one of the top of the line machines. And so production cuts to her confessional where she is like, my man, my man, my man. He owns a luxury rental car business. So basically, whatever new make, model of expensive automobiles that King has on the lot, Miss Quad will always have first dibs and will always be riding in style. Okay? So, because her man gonna be rolling like that, and there's no way he's gonna allow his new woman of a year and a half to be rolling that way. So she goes, I love it, bae. And so they open the trunk, and there is a Louis Vuitton baggage in the back seat. So she pulls out this nice Louis Vuitton bag, and so this Louis Vuitton box she pulls out of the trunk. So then production cuts to her confessional where she's sitting on the couch and she is smiling. And King comes in. His smile is as wide as hers because, of course, they're in love. It's new love. They're in the honeymoon stages of their relationship. So he's all smiles. She's all smiles. And she's like, God gave me a provider. And so we cut to them walking into the house. And she's like, yes, honey, you're going to get Rolls Royce eggs today. So King, they cut back to the confessional. King says, he and Quad complete each other. And Quad goes, you know, I'm a tough cookie. And he's like, nah, she's a soft cookie. And so it's like now we're starting to see a softer side of Quad. She is no longer, feeling like I've got to fight for my life. She's not feeling that way anymore. She is in her soft girl era. She is walking into her mother era. We already know Miss Quad has been wanting to be a mom. And so now that she feels like she is finally with someone who she can definitely see herself raising a kid with, all bets are off. She's in her soft girl era. There is no way you're going to mistake her for being that, that hard, tough cookie that she said she was in her confessional. Okay, so of course they start kikiing like any couple does about a party or about whatever's going on in their lives. So they start gossiping about her birthday party. So he's asking her if she enjoyed it. She says she did. He goes, it was drama free. And she was talking about Contessa. So she said Tess told her that she can feel the love blooming between Quad and King. So then we cut back to Quad's confessional where the producer asks, are you ready to have King's baby? So Quad says, listen, I don't think there is a person more suited for me to raise a child with. She says, honey, we gonna have some cute, fine babies, and Hershey's ain't got nothing on us. All right, so Miss Quad is she's in that era. She is ready to go. Her uterus is jumping, pumping, is ready to hold some babies. All right, so she tells King that she spoke with her OB, who says her cervix looks good, and in about 2 weeks they can start IVF. So Quad just flat out tells him, hey, I want twins. And so he's like, oh, you want to go from 0 to 1,000. So you ready to go full throttle up in motherhood, up in parenthood. So Quad is like, look, babe, I've been married before, but the situation wasn't right. So then, of course, production and their messy ass is cut to a video of her and Dr. G arguing while, she was just trying to fix him some breakfast. And she was like, I'm just trying to fix you some breakfast. And immediately you talking about these babies. Because remember, that was one of the stipulations that Dr. G always had. He's like, hey, I want babies. And we always saw that Miss Quad was always very leery when talking about babies with Dr. G. She just was not on it. And she feels like, hey, I was in a tumultuous situation that was full of strife. And we seen it. Like we already saw when Quad and Dr. G came on the show. 2 weeks before they were supposed to get married, they both got arrested for domestic violence situations going on. So it was just like that marriage was just full of drama and toxicity from the start. And I'm just amazed that they even went through with the marriage, seeing the chaotic situation that they both pulled themselves into. It seems like Dr. G and Quad brought out the worst in each other. So it's just crazy. So now Quad says that she is in a stressless situation and that King is the sugar honey iced tea baby. Yes, he is the shit. And so he smiles about that. So then Quad is sitting on that Louis Vuitton box. And so they start focusing on the box. And he was like, babe, we've been to Paris 3 times this year. And she's like, yeah, I know. And you've been clowning my luggage. And he says it was hurt. And so she gets excited, like, is this luggage? So she opens the box, and inside there is a Louis Vuitton suitcase that costs $3,650. Now, y'all already know we are dealing with Married to Medicine Atlanta. And these ladies are all about brands. They are all about the names, baby. If it don't say Louis Vuitton, if it don't say Louboutin, if it doesn't say Yves Saint Laurent, if it doesn't say any of these names, then it's like, they wear these names as badges of honor. They wear these names as just showing how much of social climbers they are, how much money they have. They wear that, and that, defines them, defines how much money they have in a bank. It's like, if it don't have a label, baby, why is you wearing it? So she has her Louis Vuitton luggage, and she said, oh, she's messing with the luggage. She's like, this is heavy. And he jokes and says, there are rocks inside. But not those kind of rocks, not those kind of rocks. And so he says, I know what kind of rocks you want. And she's like, what kind? The kind that sparkles. So we know that we see they got stars and hearts in their eyes. And I'm seeing an engagement on the horizon. I'm seeing a baby bump on the horizon. So next scene, we cut to Dr. Eugene, who we find out has started his own practice. Congratulations to Dr. Eugene, because we've seen over the years how he has stressed about being an ER doctor. We really saw it during COVID, the toll that it was taking on him. So shout out to Dr. Eugene and Toya for going into business for themselves and starting a wellness clinic. It's been up and running for about 9 months. So Gene is in his office, and Toya and Avery are walking in, and so he jokes with them, hey, who let y'all pass security? So they all laugh, and they ask him what's going on, and he's like, he's installing a credit card reader for his clients. Dr. Eugene is like, hey, you got to pay to play. So he's setting up his shit right now. So when y'all come in, don't think that y'all not gonna swipe that card after services have been rendered. Shit, maybe before services have been rendered. So Avery asks, like, why is there a bed inside the room? So Dr. Eugene explains that's where his patients will lie while he performs the procedures. Then asks Avery, hey, what are hormones? He's like, you took sex ed, so what are hormones? So Avery, of course, being a 12-year-old teenager, because he's about to be a teenager that he makes this goofy look like he's trying to come up with an answer. And so Dr. Eugene continues to encourage him. Come on, man, like, what's the female hormone? And Avery's like, I got a C on that test. So Dr. Eugene asks again, and so Avery is like, the virgina, not vagina, but virgina. So they all crack up, and I'm like, teacher, 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 teacher. Where was you at, and why wasn't Avery paying attention in class? Dr. Eugene, you got to get them flashcards back out so you can go ahead and finish quizzing Avery on the vagina and on hormones and all that good stuff, okay? So Dr. Eugene is like, no, the female organ, you remember estrogen and testosterone. Man, we went over that for your test. So Toya tells Avery, honey, you could sit down. So Eugene is like, testosterone is basically tells Avery, your testosterone is about to go up because you are going through puberty. So here comes Toya's ass with that's when you start having wet dreams. Now listen, y'all already know that Toya is a messy key, and it does not matter if she is being messy with her husband, if she's being messy with her kids, or if she is being messy with the women in her sister circle friend group, okay? Toya is going to always have a key, and it's always going to be just real. Toya is just raw, real. She is unfiltered. She is uncut. And that is one of the things that I like about Toya to an extent. And we will talk about that more later. Because y'all know she is messy boots for what she was doing, trying to come for Miss Phaedra. And that's one that you really don't want to come for if you're not ready to outwit, outlast, and outplay, honey. You got to be like a survivor when you're dealing with Miss Phaedra. But we're going to get there in a minute. I'm a double back. So, talking about wet dreams. So Toya is like, yeah, that's when you have wet dreams. Of course, Eugene is mortified because Toya is more open, where Eugene is like more reserved. I was not raised that way. Why is you talking to this boy about this stuff? He's like, Jesus, don't say that. And Avery reveals he's already had a wet dream. And Toya's like, you already had one. And Avery's like, yeah. And Toya asks, what was it like? Ma'am. Eugene and Avery are like, please. Eugene is like, Toya, stop. Avery is like, Mom. So Eugene tries to go back to explaining about testosterone, but Toya is too fixated on Avery having this wet dream because she is like, wait a minute, sir. Like, when did this happen? Again, Eugene is embarrassed because he's never seen a boy talk like this with his mom. He is like, this is weird. I didn't grow up like this. And Toya is like, why is this weird? So Eugene is like, he keeps talking to Avery and he's explaining how he's going to get hair on his testicles. And Toya's like, do you have hair? And Avery is like, yes, but Mom, come on. And Eugene is like, Toya, he's 12. So then we cut to the confessional of Eugene and Toya on the couch where Eugene is like, hey, my mama don't know that I've had sex. My mama don't know. I tell my mama I ain't never had sex. I don't know nothing about that. Although he's got 2 kids and a wife walking around the house. But Eugene, mama, I don't know nothing about sex, about what they talking about. So Toya laughs. So after they're done messing with Avery, she tells him to go have a seat out in the lobby, finish studying. We're going to talk more about these wet dreams and these hairy testicles when we get on the car ride home. So Avery's like, no, I do not want to talk about that. So they cut back to the confessional where Eugene says his mama believes he ain't had sex. And Toya's like, she can attest to that because whenever they spend the night at his mom's house, the guest room that they sleep in has no door. So Mama Harris is not playing with y'all. She like, listen, I know I got these grandbabies, but I don't want to hear no boots rocking and knocking in my home. Okay? So Eugene is like, Toya, why do you have to be so raw? And I have to say this. Now, y'all can go ahead and feel how you feel, but I commend Toya for having these open and honest. I commend Toya. First of all, we already know Toya is from the D. What up, doe? What up, doe? So with Toya, what I like about Toya being raw and unfiltered is that she is creating this atmosphere for her sons so that they will feel open and honest to talk about their sexuality. They will feel open and honest if they have questions about sex, because let's face it, in the next few years, if they're already not looking at young ladies, they will be. So at least they will be feel more comfortable going to their mom if they decide they want to have sex. If they decide, hey, I want a condom, can you show me how to put this condom on? Especially also with their dad being a doctor, so they are in a good, sexual space, that when they start feeling these urges when they get older, if they want to talk about it, it's not like they necessarily have to learn from their friends, like how a lot of young people end up doing. They never talk to their parents about it. They would rather talk to their peers about it. And then sometimes when talking with their peers, you end up with a watermelon in your belly because you didn't listen to what your friend said and you have not, just consulted your family members, i.e. your mama, your daddy, your big cousin, or somebody like that, where you could get some advice from. So who better else to get advice from than your own mama? And y'all can say what y'all want to say, but I love that about Toya. That means she's open and honest. They can talk about sex. It's not taboo because sex is just it's a part of being human. It's just a part of our makeup. So I really love that about Toya. And I think that is great that she has that open and honest relationship with her children. So I just feel like they will never feel embarrassed or feel like they cannot talk to their mom about situations going on. And that will be one way, hey, they could probably nip a situation in the bud before it happens, or say, son, here goes some condoms. I want you to protect yourself. Always protect yourself. So I think that's great. Okay. So while Avery's out doing his homework, they sit down, Toya and Eugene sit down and start talking. And Toya looks at Eugene. Did you hear him say he got hair on his balls? And Eugene is like, Toya, he's 12. Stop it. So they laugh a little bit, transition out of that conversation. So Toya wants to transition into another conversation. So she's like, boom, we need to talk about our business. So then we learn that, again, Eugene has opened his new practice called Recharge Wellness. And we know that he's transitioning from the ER into his own practice. So Recharge Wellness offers weight loss strategies, hormone balance therapy, personalized treatment plans. So Toya is like, hey, we have these amazing services, but I feel like there's another service that we need to add to the menu. I feel like that we need to add Botox to the menu. So Eugene is like, oh, he feels a little bit leery because again, this is a new this is his new baby. It's only been around for 9 months. He doesn't want to bite off more than he can chew. He is the only physician right now in the office. So he says, Toya, if we do start to offer Botox, then I'm going to have to bring in another doctor to administer it because pretty much like I said, he's a one-man band. At this time, he doesn't even have a receptionist. Toya is like, hey, I can answer phones, and he's looking at her like, girl, stop, you was not gonna answer no phones. So we all know that before Toya was a housewife turned entrepreneur, that Toya was in marketing and she worked in pharmaceutical sales. Toya is like, Gene, don't forget, I'm a marketing guru, babe. Don't forget, I was working at Pfizer and I was working at Procter and Gamble, and I know what's on the market. I know what's selling. I feel like we need to add Botox to the business. And Eugene is like, listen, I hear you. I value your opinion. I'm open to this service, but right now I want to focus on what we have. So I feel Eugene in that aspect is like he's like he wants to be a jack of all trades instead of not being able to master any of those things yet. But Eugene, listen to your wife. She is right. Bring in another physician to assist with the Botox because, again, Atlanta is Black Hollywood, and there's so many stars walking around there that want the Botox. So just think about it. So Toya is like, Gene, we need to talk more about this, about our business, because again, this is very lucrative. We will make more money. So hopefully Dr. Eugene will listen to his wife and call a physician to get in there to start administering the Botox to the people. So the next scene. Now, this scene really annoyed me with Cecil and Simone showing up to Michael and Miles's condo, which I'm wondering if she's still paying for. They show up in white hazmat suits and they show up with buckets, mops. They're getting ready to clean these grown man children's places. Now, my thing is, we have watched over the years, we've watched Cecil and Simone talk to Miles and Michael about cleanliness, about just, maturing. And my thing is like at their big grown ass ages, Cecil and Simone, do y'all really need to come over to their home to teach them how to clean? I mean, hey, if they want to live in a pigsty, let them live in a pigsty. This just really annoyed me that they went over there. Well, we want to show them how to clean and da 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 da. I'm like, y'all been showing these boys for years how to do some of everything, and they still gonna do what they gonna do. So anyway, Cecil Simone walk into the house. They open the door, and I can, by Simone's face, I know the stench was full of man funk. I know just dirty, probably sticky drawers, funky shoes, liquor bottles, dirty dishes, and God knows what else was up in there funking up the place. So Simone is like, I am pissed. So Cecil is washing dishes and he's like, since you pissed, are you pissed at any of your friends? And so Simone, that was a great segue to transition into Quad's Moulin Rouge party, where Simone is like, hey, you heard of gender reveals, right? And Cecil's like, yeah. So she like, well, Miss Quad had a boyfriend reveal. And Cecil's like, what? And Simone is like, yeah, she introduced us to her man of over a year. So then production cuts to Simone and Cecil's confessional, where Simone says the fact that she's just revealing her man to us shows us that she's the same old Quad, which I'm going to have to agree. Again, Simone has always said, and then they cut back to Simone at the reunion where Simone said, hey, Quad is never really around. And then also they talked about it in Napa Valley. Uh-oh. Came upon a midnight clear. Gotta play the song for a little bit. I forgot this clock be going off at a quarter till. My midnight clear. It is a Christmas holiday. All right, that was good. Nice little segue. So anyway, back to Napa. Simone was always saying the same thing to Quad. It's like, Quad, I don't like you're putting on for these cameras, baby. If these cameras not around, we don't see you, we don't hear from you. You don't want to be around us until there is an event going on and their cameras are around. That's when you want to come in, and that's when you want to feel like you are part of the sister circle, but you're really not. Like they're like, Quad, you alienate yourself from us. We really don't know you. You don't invite us into your space, into your home. We don't know anything about you. And now you are extending an olive branch and you're introducing us to a man that you've been with for over a year. We don't even know. Hell, we don't even know you. So I guess now is a good time as any for them to get to know Miss Quad and her man at the same time. So for me, Quad is very much giving acquaintance slash co-worker slash we gonna kiki when his camera cuts on. What she is offering to the friend group is like, it's a no for me. She's not offering anything. And y'all can come for me in the comments if y'all want to, but y'all gotta face facts. These ladies is not out here lying on Miss Quad. Miss Quad is only a friend when the cameras are on. If the cameras ain't there, Miss Quad is ghost. She is nowhere to be found. So Cecil, of course, Cecil is always that good friend to Quad. Cecil is gonna go up for Quad. Cecil is gonna stand for Quad. And he's like, with what happened in Napa, can you blame her? So Cecil's pretty much saying, y'all pretty much put this woman under the Grand Inquisition. So where y'all questioned her relentlessly, y'all was throwing strays, y'all was just pointing, shooting strays, y'all was doing all these things to her. Can you blame her for not wanting to introduce y'all to her man? But again, like I said, I'm gonna go back to saying what I was saying. Quad is a surface friend. Y'all remember how Quad got mad at the ladies while she and Dr. G were growing through their situations. And she was talking about how the ladies weren't really there for her. So honestly, we didn't really find out what was going on between G and Quad until we had there was that reunion where Quad revealed that Dr. G and a friend got caught at the hotel with some women. And then she talked about the other domestic dispute where things got really ugly. So remember, Quad was always getting mad at the lady saying, you guys weren't here for me during the toughest time of my life. And I was wondering why they all looked at her like, what the hell are you talking about? So apparently, either Miss Quad did not really tell the ladies in depth what was going on, the severity, the toxicity of the relationship with Dr. G, so they could be there for her. So that's all I can surmise because, like I said, the ladies just looked at her like, Quad, you and your theatrics, we is over it, we is not here for it, please stop it. So that's pretty much like all I can say. Quad is giving co-worker, she's not giving friend. But again, Cecil, that's his friend, he's gonna stick beside her. So anyway, they're finishing up cleaning up the house. And so Simone is like, we're going to tally up these services. So they decide that $425 is what they're going to charge the boys for cleaning up the house. And then Simone takes the nice little speaker that Cecil had bought for Michael. He said, well, that's about $400 right there. So Simone like, shit, well, I'm going to get this speaker and we're going to head on out the door. So we cut to the next scene where we see Tess is preparing a little snacky snack because she has invited Fei and Sweet Tea over so they could kiki and spill some tea. Okay. So Phaedra arrives first, and y'all know how Miss Phaedra does. She sachets into the kitchen. She compliments Tess on the presentation, and Tess is like, well, I did replate all this food nicely. You know, the food that she ordered. She's like, I ain't cooked none of this. So she said, I did replate it nicely. So they are just kikiing a little bit. They pop open a cork. And so they like, hey, this shady shit show shenanigan fest is about to begin. So Tess brings up Whitnick and they start talking about the moment that T saw Heavenly, that it was on site, and T pretty much turned into Hulk Isha, okay, where she, and then the camera cuts to T going in on Heavenly and Damon. She was going in on both of them. So she had some built up pressure that she was addressing, the pressure that the good Auntie T.S. Madison is always talking about, that pressure. That's what T had for Cecil and Heavenly on site. She was up in their asses, foot on neck, going in. Okay. So again, T has a lot to address when it comes to Heavenly. So that was funny. And then, so she was talking about, T more so was talking about Heavenly's messy ass and about the Damon alleged cheating rumors and all this bullshit. So Tess admits to Phaedra that there were times like, hey, I'm not going to lie. There were times when I wanted to choke the shit out of Heavenly for shit that she has said on social media. So then Contessa's in her confessional and the producer asks why she has pressure with Heavenly. Tess is like, where do I begin? Then she goes and pulls out her receipts. She says, Heavenly has talked about Scott. She's called him names. Heavenly has talked about me. She has called me names. Then production cuts to Heavenly on her YouTube channel. And y'all know how Heavenly be jaw jacking on her YouTube channel. She sits up here and she talks shit about all of her castmates on the show. She goes in relentlessly, and it's at the point where it's like, damn, chick. It's like, who are you a friend to? Because it's like, I don't even think, remember before, it took a minute for her and Jackie to become the best of friends. And now you notice Jackie is a person that she's under 1000% of the time because the ladies really can't stomach or stand her. So then the camera cuts to Heavenly on her YouTube show, just jaw jacking, just talking. Some people don't need a platform. And Dr. Heavenly at this time, I'm going to say, since you are dentist, dentist, the menace, it's like you are really a menace to society. And it's like you messy and it's too much. So on her YouTube channel, she posed a question. Will Scott ever change his ways for Tess? And so Heavenly answers the question and says, hey, they are in a functionally dysfunctional relationship. Then they cut to the clip where Heavenly had another question on the Ask Dr. Heavenly show. Do you think Scott is cheating? Heavenly says, men gonna do what you allow them to do. And so Contessa is like, hey, Heavenly is an arsonist. She likes to burn and blow shit up, and I do not disagree. Heavenly is just mean. She is spiteful. She is rude. She is just all of the things. She steadily apologize, not apologize. She apologize. She goes and she gives this fake, phony ass, fraudulent apology, and then in the next breath, she's calling you a bitch or saying your mama. So Phaedra admits that social media is the bane of this group's existence, and I could not agree anymore. So anyway, the doorbell rings. It's Sweet Tea. All three of them hug and they kiki. Y'all know how black girls do. Black girl, we magic. So you know how they do. And so the outfit that T has on, they tease her a little bit, and they said she looking like Walona from Good Times. Good Times, yeah, yeah. So they said she looked like Good Times, giving them some Walona vibes. Which I thought was cute. That was funny. So anyway, they fix their plates. They sit down at the table and they start talking about Dentist the Menace and how she is a terrorist on social media. So then we cut to T's confessional and T is like, yo, I'm stressed. I am trying to have a baby. Pretty much Sweet Tea was diagnosed with endometriosis. They got everything out of her that they needed to get out. But basically, she and Dr. G have 1 year to try and conceive before she will be confirmed or classified as being infertile. So she is under stress and pressure. She's like, yo, I'm trying to have a baby with my man, my man, my man. And these ladies is stressing me the hell out. And how am I supposed to relax and be open to good vibes and to being blessed with having a child if I'm under the stress and pressure with this friend group? Okay. She's like, I don't need the extra drama. So T, she just like basically can't fake the funk, and she reveals to her friends like Heavenly is emotionally abusive and I'm getting tired of being around her and these group of ladies. Okay. So as the ladies are settling down at the table, Tess taps her shoulder and says, but friend, you get on socials and it's on site with Heavenly. You keep your foot on her neck. So then production cuts to the time Sweet Tea went live and she was talking about Damon cheating on Heavenly and saying that Heavenly did reveal to her that Damon did cheat on her. And it's like, child, I cannot. Dr. Damon said, I ain't a cheater. Heavenly said, don't talk about daddy. And Mariah said, do you want me to bring the receipts, baby girl? So Mariah's got receipts. Damon say he not cheating. Heavenly say he not cheating. But Heavenly told T allegedly that Damon did cheat on her. So we don't even know. Okay. So T says, listen, looks at Tess and says, yo, I'm on the defense. And that's just a natural reaction. When somebody comes at you with some bullshit, your natural reaction is on site. I'm coming at you locked and loaded. You about to catch these strays. And that's how it is. So T says, listen, I'm not going to always keep it sweet. Sometimes it's going to be on and it's going to be piping hot. Okay. And that's pretty much how I feel too. And with Heavenly, it's like, damn, you cannot. That's why I miss Mariah. Mariah was the only one that could pretty much wrangle Heavenly and have her. We remember the pressure wash this motherfucker when she was talking about Heavenly's house. Yeah, talking about you need to pressure wash this mother. Heavenly could not say anything. Okay. And then with the Damon, I sure know who slept with Damon. Do you want me to bring the receipts, baby girl? Like, that is the only person that I know that can catch Heavenly up so much and frustrates the hell out of Heavenly. It's Mariah. So as they are kikiing, then Tess fills Sweet Tea in on Quad's party. Like, girl, you missed Quad's theatrics at her Moulin Rouge party. And Faye chimes in like, yeah, girl, she introduced us to her new man at the party. Then we cut to Sweet Tea in her confessional, like, woohoo, Quad has a new man. And she's happy about that because she's like, now basically she can keep my man's name out of her mouth. Tess says, yes, her man, he's a younger man, he's handsome. And Faye's like, yes, he's young and fresh. So then they start laughing. And then they cut to Sweet Tea's confessional where she throws a little shade and says, I hope he has money because that's what seems to be important. And I'm like, hey, Quad and them ladies in the car when she was dropping off her little invitation to her Moulin Rouge party, they said Sweet Tea was looking like somebody grandma. So, okay, so we trading strays for strays. So T wants to address the elephant in the room. And so she says, it makes sense for me not to have been invited to, Quad's birthday party. So I see some of y'all was in the comments talking about, well, who would want to go to who would want to be invited to their husband's ex-wife's birthday party? I mean, that's a great question to ask. Very rhetorical. But who wants to crash their ex-husband's then fiance's bachelorette party? I'm going to wait while y'all ponder on that. Quad was so thirsty to be invited to Sweet Tea's bachelorette party that Toya had planned that Phaedra devised the whole plan and invited Quad on the low. So y'all in the comments talking about, well, who would want to go to their new husband's ex-wife's birthday party? The same chick that wanted to crash her ex-husband's new wife's bachelorette party. So miss me with them comments about that. It's crazy. Y'all can't have it one way and then no. That's just absolutely not. Okay, so T talks about that. It made sense for me not to be invited to Quad's party. No harm, no foul. So Fei Fei said, okay, while we're addressing elephants, let's talk about this other elephant when it comes to Quad and Simone. That's another elephant. So then the three of them just start brainstorming like, hey, y'all know in true housewife fashion, when there is discord amongst the group, they got to plan a trip where the motive of the trip is to have come to Jesus moments. It's to get the sisterhood collective back together. But we already know it doesn't matter what housewife franchise we watching. A girl's trip equals drama, equals bitch fest, equals foot on your neck pressure, the drama. Why we here to watch these shows? That's pretty much what these girls trips mean. They mean pure ass entertainment for us to sit up here and gab about on our YouTube channels. So I thank you. So yeah. So Phaedra's like, hey, we need to have Tess is like, we need to have fun. We need to reset. Yeah, okay. So Fei Fei is like, well, I don't want another Napa Valley situation. And she's like, we need to do something drastic. We need to get some sun. We need to get out of Atlanta. We need to get out of our comfort zone. So then they start talking about yeehaw. They start talking about glamping, and then they start talking about cowboys and how cowboys rough it and how we were the original cowboys. And so T starts laughing. It's like, we can redo my hoedown. And then Fei Fei says, yeah, with some new hoes. And Tess says, well, I'm an old hoe. So then her and Phaedra, yes! So they're excited because they are planning the girls' trip. Okay, so the next scene, we cut to Dr. Heavenly's office. I don't know if y'all are trying to have us, if y'all are trying to soften Heavenly for us to show her in her motherhood era. I really don't know. But this scene, honestly, I just feel like it was a filler piece. So cut to, we're inside of Dr. Heavenly's dental practice where her son Zach is interning. He's a future dentist. So shout out again, we need more black dentists, we need more black doctors. So shout out to the future Dr. Zachary Kimes, who is interning at Dr. Heavenly Smile. So anyway, Heavenly reveals that he's on payroll. He just graduated from UGA. And so she has a patient sitting in the chair and she's having Zachary role play with the patient. So Zachary, of course, had a few missteps. And so Heavenly is trying to coach him from the corner, and he's just like, well, mommy, mommy, mommy. And she's like, Dr. Kimes, call me Dr. Kimes. So I thought that was kind of cool just to see that. But it's like, if y'all are trying to soften us on who Heavenly is, I'm like, I'm not buying it. But it's good to see her son is following in his mother's footsteps. So I thought that was good. And that's really all I gotta say about that scene. So the next scene, we see Dr. Jackie. Again, I think y'all trying to soften us again because the people been coming hard for Jackie these past couple years. So Dr. Jackie is in her office with plays for the Atlanta Angels. Her name is Ryan. Ryan has fibroids. Ryan wants to have a baby. So Dr. Jackie lets us know that she is getting ready to that Ryan's about to have this surgery and they're going to clean out her uterus and cervix and all that good stuff, remove the fibroids so Ryan can start to, so she and her partner can start undergoing IVF. And Ryan reveals that, hey, she's trying to make another ball player that she can send straight to the league to take care of her. Dr. Jackie's like, don't freeze all your eggs. And then they start laughing about that. So the next scene, we cut to Dr. Simone. She is making drinks. I love her and Cecil are always down for a good cocktail. So I think they are so funny. So Dr. Simone is making drinks. Cecil comes up and he gives her a pretty brown box. And she's like, what is this? So at this time, simultaneously, Dr. Simone is receiving her box. Dr. Heavenly gets her box from Alora. Miss Quad pulls up to her driveway and sees her box on her stoop. Toya sees her box as well. All the ladies, I like this little montage, how all the ladies unwrap their boxes and they start reading about the girls' getaway. They're doing glamping. They're going glamping. And so when the ladies find out that Fei Fei, Tess, and Letitia are planning this trip together, they start kikiing like, it's like, when did the three of them become so close? So the wheels are already churning about this alliance that has formed. So they all received their bandanas and they all received their spurs. And so they started talking about that. So Toya goes, Lord, Toya is pretty much like, I'm gonna have to be the peacemaker. I'm gonna have to be the bullshit caller outer. When I see it, I'm gonna clock it and I'm gonna call you on your shit. I'm pulling you out to the carpet. So that was one of the things that Toya is saying, that she's gonna have to be the mediator, peacemaker, bullshitter, caller outer. So she's pretty much gonna be referee, and she's like, I'm really not gonna have a good time because I'm gonna be the intermediary for all of these ladies. So Cecil is like, do you think now is a good time to have a girl trip? And I'm thinking the same thing, but y'all know Bravo is messy as hell. So we need to add fuel to the gasoline fire that is already happening right now, the dumpster fire that we're all consuming. So Cecil's like, do you think this is a good opportunity? So a lot of conversations need to happen. And he's like, between you and Quad, Sweet Tea and Quad, Heavenly and T. And that was one of the things that I found funny too, that Toya was like, damn, there's a lot of shit going on. I'm going to have to mediate between Quad and Simone. Then I'm going to have to mediate between and Heavenly and Quad and Sweet Tea. So Cecil is basically saying the same thing. There are a lot of conversations that need to happen. So Simone is like, Quad and I definitely need to have a conversation. I don't know how to approach it, because I do know I owe her an apology for what happened in New York. So we cut to the reunion where y'all know where Simone made the comments about Quad's niece and her tragic passing and Miss Quad falling apart about it. So she's saying, I need to have that conversation. I need to apologize for that, because that she does realize that she did hit below the belt. Will real conversations happen? They could go well or they could go wrong. Okay. And then Cecil's like, why go wrong? And so Simone is like, rumor mill has it that Quad wants an apology for Napa. And I don't owe her an apology and I ain't giving a shit. That's what she says. And I agree. She does not owe Quad an apology for how she got kicked off the Napa Valley trip. She said, Quad, we don't have any emotional attachments to you. Good day. I said good day. And that's pretty much how it happened. Quad, they don't have any emotional attachment to you, baby. Like, bye. It's like I don't know what more. I don't know. So I just agree with that. So Simone is like, when you are not with us, then you conveniently pop up at events when the cameras are rolling. It shows and gives disingenuous. And I totally agree. So Simone said, I feel how I feel. She's like, Quad doesn't want friends to be honest and real with her. And she definitely doesn't want anyone to confront her about her own shit. And Cecil's like, well, listen, y'all need to have some breakout sessions. I love Coach Cecil. He's like, y'all need to have some breakout sessions. And Simone is like, yo, I'm in a no-win situation. Quad and I are good in the moment, but any comment on social media will put that battery in Quad's back and she will be recharged, reactivated, and locked and loaded. And she coming back to me with this bullshit. So Cecil is talking about Jackie. Well, a great wise woman once said, an apology is for you. And then they cut to the last trip where Sweet Tea was apologizing, when Sweet Tea and Jackie had all that pressure. And Simone just starts laughing like, boy, no. So here's where the messiness comes in. Next scene is at Faye's house. Okay, Apollo pulls up to get the boys. So because she is going glamping in Florida for 5 days, Apollo has agreed to come get the boys, and he's going to take them camping as well. So the boys come out, they hug their dad. They're, just chit chatting as co-parents, catching up a little bit. So they greet each other. And so they start laughing about Apollo's like, yeah, I'm gonna take the boys camping. You know how they like to eat. They will eat you out of house and home, blah, 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 blah. So Phaedra does a quick introduction. For those of you who don't know, Apollo is Phaedra's ex-husband. We met him on Real Housewives of Atlanta. Y'all remember when Phaedra popped up pregnant, and Phaedra did not want to reveal that she had gotten pregnant before she got married. Remember when the ladies were asking her how many months she was, and Phaedra said she's 7 months. The baby's lungs ain't fully developed. She about to have a baby. The baby might come out walking, talking. We don't know. Phaedra basically was pregnant with Apollo before they got married. I don't know why she didn't want to, because she portrayed herself as this sweet Southern belle. So it's like, Phaedra, stop faking the funk. So anyway, Phaedra said that she and Apollo have been together since 1995. Okay. So they're co-parenting, and so production asks, can is Apollo now allowed in your house? And Phaedra is like, they go back to the last reunion where Apollo appeared on the Married to Medicine reunion. And Phaedra is like, he can come by the house, but he can't come inside the house because I don't want that energy in my house. He crazy. He cray cray. So the boys hug her. They go to the car. And so he's like, what else y'all doing while y'all in Florida? They blah, 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 chit chat. So the conversation takes an interesting turn. And Phaedra's like, yeah, I'm going with the ladies that you met in New York at the reunion. And Toya's name pops up. So they're like, Toya said she saw you at a restaurant. So then production cuts to when Phaedra and Toya had a little meetup a couple weeks ago. Faye, did I tell you I ran into your ex at a restaurant? And Phaedra's like, no. And she said, I saw him. And, I was being funny. And she said it was funny after that situation where Apollo got caught cheating on his new wife. Y'all know the woman that he married in jail. And so Toya was just, just being just nosy and messy and asking Apollo about his extramarital affairs, and then tells Phaedra, so if he was cheating with her, does that mean y'all getting back together? Phaedra is not the one, Toya, that you want to come for. I think you need to hop back on YouTube real quick and watch how she drugged Kenya Moore and her hair care for filth. This is before Kenya Moore came out with her hair care line. But you need to revisit how she drug and she ate Kenya alive. She will definitely do the same. I feel like you got a lot of pressure when it comes to Phaedra. I'm lightweight feeling that you're a little lusty. You're lusting after Apollo. That's what it's giving, because we saw how you was looking at him like he was the last piece of steak on a plate, and that you wanted to sop him up with a biscuit. We synced it, Toya. We synced it. There's a little something there. And the fact that we're getting a glimpse into Toya trying to ruffle Phaedra's feathers is beyond me. So my thing is like, Toya, now we've seen you over the years go at it with several of the ladies because you feel like you want to call a spade a spade. You want to bring somebody to the carpet when you feel like they're being too secretive and you want to get to know them. And so what production is showing us in the upcoming episode is that you've got pressure with Phaedra and you're trying to figure out what makes her tick. And my thing is, that is messy bish behavior. Like, why are you being so messy? Why do you want to know what makes Phaedra tick? Why do you care if she is being so secretive? Have you not heard that you have friends that come in your life for a reason and a season? Phaedra is not the one, the two, or the three to be played with, honey. She is not a Tonka toy truck, and she is going to drag you for filth. She already drug you when you asked her during Napa, did you talk to your kids about the separation? And Phaedra said they can read. And Toya's like, well, I answer questions before, I answer questions for my kids. Basically, I spill the tea for my kids before they can ask a question. And Phaedra's like, well, that's good for you and your household. But that pretty much does not happen in my household. So my thing is, Toya, you need to, in the words of Kenya Moore, don't come for me unless I send for you. Now, you barking up the wrong tree. You barking up the wrong tree. Don't allow Heavenly in her confessionals that we see where she putting a little battery in your back and trying to charge you up. If you coming from Miss Phaedra, you better be like Karen Huger and you better bring them gloves and you better clock in, because once you get Phaedra activated, it's gonna be up, it's gonna be on site, and you thought you lost some weight with Dr. Eugene's with his weight loss practices that he's doing in the new the wellness clinic. Girl, Phaedra is gonna take you through some rounds, honey. She gonna get that cardio work in. Cause she is going to outwit, outlast, and she is going to play your ass in every scene. She's going to eat you up. It's gonna eat you up, my love. You better, you since you clocked in, you better be locked and loaded, and you better stop barking up her and Apollo's tree. That's not what you want. So basically, the scene ends with Phaedra is like, "Yo, she being messy boots. I don't care what this man has going on in his new relationship with his marriage. I just want to make sure that he and our sons are having a good father and son relationship. That is all I want. I don't care about it." So anyway, she just feels like, well, I feel like Phaedra is just guarded. Don't play with her, Toya. Don't play with her. Again, I really believe that Toya is lusting after Apollo. I feel like that's the type of man that she probably dated before she married Gene. Because if y'all see, she was looking at him like he was the last biscuit on a plate and she was sopping his ass up. Toya wants Apollo. Toya is lusting after Apollo. You've seen it here first. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So we're gonna get. Oh, and then so Apollo's getting ready to leave. She said, "You got the EpiPen in the baby's bag." So anyway, the next scene, which it was kind of telling. I'm sorry, into who Dr. G is for me. So we see Sweet Tea is making a smoothie. She calls her twin sister Kanisha, who at that time was pregnant, and so she's talking to her. They're planning this baby shower. And so her looking at her sister's belly is making her yearn for her own motherhood journey. And, her sister realizes it's rough seeing her pregnant. Dr. G comes in while she's talking to Kanisha on the phone. T hurries up and, gets off the phone. She's like, I want to check in on Greg, see how his day was. So they start talking. So again, they're having smoothies. He like, where the coasters at? We look like savages. Oh man, be quiet. So T like, we need a new table anyway. So anyway, how was your day? So T reveals that I'm still having pelvis pain issues after, this surgery, after she had her surgery. So she said she's still going to the pelvic pain clinic. She said it's been rough. She's still having menstrual pain. And then she said, we're about to start dealing with this IVF treatments. She's like, it's not like I can't get pregnant. It's like right now we have a few obstacles. So she was basically revealing we have about a year to try and get pregnant before they say I'm officially infertile. And he's like, yeah, we need to get that going ASAP. And she said, how long do we have to try? And she's like, basically giving him an ultimatum. What's the cutoff age for you? So Greg is like, boom, with my schedule and how I'm feeling, we got about 2 years. That's about as long as I can go. So then T gets teary eyed and she's just like, damn, I didn't think the cutoff would be that soon. So G is like, yo, I just need to be realistic about what I can do. So T she's like, I feel pressure. I feel under pressure. And he's like, I don't want to do that to you. I don't want to put that pressure on us. And then he starts talking about people have adopted. There's a lot to think about. And he's like, we got to think about how badly do we want to have a kid? And she's like, I want to have a baby badly. And we see it that Sweet Tea wants to be a mother. And more than anything, I pray that she does get to become a mom, regardless of how she has a child. I hope and pray that they can, conceive their child. But if they cannot, then I hope they look into other methods. So I just really felt bad for her seeing that it's taking a toll on her as a woman. And as a woman, that is one thing that you want to be able to provide for your husband, is to provide a child. And she is feeling a little less than, and I could see with those tears, my heart just went out to her. So anyway, we see the ladies getting ready for their trip. They're all kikiing, talking on the phone, blah, 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 blah. So the next thing we see them all at the airport. They're hopping a plane. They're headed to Orlando. They arrive in Orlando. Of course, they get in the Sprinter vans, and so the two they've got two Sprinter vans, and so the ladies are all split up. So we got Tess, T, Phaedra, and Simone are in one Sprinter van, and in the other Sprinter van you have Heavenly, you have Jackie, you've got Toya, you've got Quad. So they're talking about, yeah, do we think we're gonna have a good time? And so they like, we need to pray. So Jackie and the ladies in her Sprinter van start praying for a good praying for a good trip. And so one of the things that Jackie is saying, let's pray, and I hope and pray that we have a safe trip filled with emotional intelligence. And so the camera just cuts to the shit show that is about to happen. The ladies are going at it. They throwing strays, they throwing daggers, they throwing low blows, everything that you can think of. Everybody is arguing with everybody, and I am here for it, and I cannot wait. And this has been a great review. I'm so excited. The ladies are clocked in. They are clocked in. They are locked in. They are loaded. Y'all go ahead, like, share, comment, subscribe, talk your shit in the comments. And until the next video, the petty one is out.